This is Kajor, one of, if not, the most creative Overwatch streamer out there, who does these crazy live effects on the stream every now and then. Some of you might have heard of him already. He's been making noise in the Overwatch scene for quite some time, only recently garnering 250,000 views back in March 2023, and only recently having a spike in Twitch followers just a few months ago. However, he's also gotten into bad blood with some of the largest Overwatch creators, most notably YourOverwatch and Flats. So what gives? Why hasn't he got a large shining light in the Overwatch community? Why does he feel disenfranchised with the method of his growth? And what got him lampooned by Frito and Flats? Let's start off with where it all began, of which there's actually a few archives of. The earliest stream on his channel was a 6-year-old 20-minute Overwatch 1 stream with under 20 views. The stream was a complete shadow of what it is now, with basic copyright-free music in the background, a record in the top left, no facecam, and barely any commentary. However, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably better production quality than most streams out there. On his YouTube, things were a similar story. The videos were short, had rough thumbnails, and a bit of commentary every now and then. He seemed to love doing montages back then, especially Bastion ones, but none of them eclipsed 1,000 views. As a side note by the way, if you're an aspiring Overwatch creator, do not do montages to grow. Unless your name is too mad and you have a level of schizophrenia unattainable by the masses, you will always be drowned out by other montages. And honestly, this was the story of Kajor for over 2 years. Sporadic videos and streams, backed by mediocre production quality. But as we enter 2020, the year of the pandemic, that's where we'd see a more regular stream of content from Kajor, no pun intended. And for reference, this is actually a really pivotal time for the careers of many up-and-coming creators. I'm sure you remember, but this was the time of 2 mad Zoom raids, where everyone had to stay indoors, giving more free time for people to experiment with their content. Kajor seemingly upped the production quality of both his streams and videos, not only including a facecam, but a timeless border around it, as well as more thoughtful editing in some of his videos. Still, this didn't really get him any traction. Some of his videos got past 4 digits, but he remained pretty stagnant for the time being. However, his Twitch actually started to see some fairly good and respectable growth since March 2020, gaining a few hundred followers each month, as well as slowly getting more live viewers, going from 6 live viewers to 23 by December. I also want to mention the amount of effort Kajor put into his Twitch career, pouring in close to 200 hours every month of just streaming. That's over 40 hours a week, or more than a typical 9 to 5. And to have the mental to keep doing this month on month, even when you're not seeing exponential growth, is honestly really impressive. And as we move into 2021, Kajor kept the ball rolling on both his Twitch and his YouTube. This time, Kajor tripled his live viewers from around 25 to around 75 by December 2021. Late 2021 was also the time where Kajor started experimenting with his OBS, coding in slick, quirky, and creative edits with his camera, elevating his stream to a whole different level. Honestly, I haven't seen any Overwatch creator, or any creator period, replicate this kind of creativity. Not to mention, nowadays, he has even crazier effects, which I'm sure I've already used as background footage. He's also done stuff like coding an interactive QuickTime event during his streams, which allows viewers to actually take part in the stream. 2022 is where we see Kajor at his lowest and also his highest point too, getting around 40 to 50 viewers roughly a month before Overwatch 2 launches, but then as soon as it does launch, his viewers skyrocket to the mid 200s. Then, as the hype died down, it stabilized to around 80 for the following month, but he still gradually grew his channel, gaining over 2,500 followers in May, which was likely due to the momentum he was carrying from March off his YouTube videos. Speaking of which, his channel saw a massive spike earlier this year, with 2 videos, one being on him commentating in a top 500 game on Sombra, and another explaining why not to hack health packs, garnering 6 digits apiece. But unfortunately, now is where we get a little bit into the drama. Mid-June this year, Kajor put out a tweet that I read, "I'm gonna be making some enemies with this one, but it's starting to look a little bit pathetic how some of these content creators are sabotaging people's perception of the game because of the grudge they hold against Blizzards." Now, before I talk about the reaction from the community, and more specifically, from content creators, I think it's important to understand why Kajor even made a tweet like this. He legitimately reaps zero benefit from tweeting and gunning after the big Overwatch creators, aside from making $5 on Twitter ad impressions. And I think this kinda shows where Kajor's values lie. As Dark Viper puts it, bootlicking the creators above you and not voicing your own opinion only leads to benefits.
Hey, kiss the ring and maybe you get a collab. Perhaps a Twitch raid.
So it's no surprise that Question ended up getting in a scuffle with YourOverwatch, one of, if not, the biggest Overwatch YouTuber out there right now, and certainly one of the oldest. Now sadly, the tweets from YourOverwatch or Fredo are now deleted, likely because he got ratioed to hell and it left a bad impression. In essence, Question directly went after Fredo's misdirecting thumbnail and title in a video that covered the PvE cancellation, stating the gall this man here had to add not clickbait in here on top of saying it was cancelled is wild to me though. Unfortunately, Fredo has yet to read Ego's the Enemy, feeling too prideful to not respond. Nateson, another veteran name in the community, was also backing what Fredo said as well. Overall, Fredo's tweets left a bad impression by the ones who read the threads, and sadly, I can't find any archive of the old tweets. Once more though, Samito ended up defending Fredo, stating, silly reply lol. I'm not gonna regurgitate the threads, but it resulted in Samito doubling down on how PvE was actually cancelled because the aspects of it were completely scrapped. And Question's response was that cancelled is too absolute of a term to use, and you end up propagating a false narrative and confusing people who just read the title and the thumbnail, all in the name to just get more doom clicks and get more money as a result. But that's not all. Question also got into beef with Flats, which went public about a month ago. There's two main parts to it. The first part was Question making a comment about Flat supposedly match fixing for Team USA in the World Cup by paying players in subs to play certain roles and do certain things. As a result, this led to Question saying that he felt a boundary was crossed when paying someone to throw, and he said this in SVB's Twitch chats during the Group Up podcast. I'll play a clip from Question explaining the situation and more.
And then that got screenshotted, and his editor Retro, he was who I was going to be staying with during TwitchCon. To talk, you've decided to attack my best friend and other creators who are also my best friend by being severely misinformed about things, and I've got to say I'm really uncomfortable and I need to reconsider you staying at my place, right? So I need to get a hotel, I need all that. Fine, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, I'd love to be more informed. I'm making a character judgment, and the action to me seems wrong if that's what I think it is. Like the action alone, isolated from who it is from, I guess, right? I just said that was weird. I felt like I just wanted to point out something that was weird. And then he just said, you're wrong. I don't know what wild conclusion you came to. Now, I thought that was it. You know what? Fine. Fuck it. You don't have to like me. That's whatever. But then, you know, I checked Twitter. He unfollowed me. He unfriended me. He blocked and then unblocked so that I would unfollow him.
The second part to the story is when Question got denied from joining a content creator group because of Flats and his moderators, specifically about the situation I just described.
A couple days ago, FireX, a fellow streamer, wanted to invite me to a Discord server that is controlled by moderators on Twitch, so that you can, you know, you can share bad actors and share battle tags and you know, people that are weird, and you can get them banned in other Discord servers and stuff. We've ultimately decided against it between his behavior on social media, attacking fellow content creators, and behavior in the content creator Discord. That's not the kind of energy we want to bring, and we're not confident confrontations won't happen here. It's unfortunate that he's getting harassed, but he wants to report something. It can be, of course, be relayed to members of this server to be posted. So, behind the scenes, he's trash talking me. Behind the scenes, he's making it so that I can't join things, can't do stuff. Behind the scenes, he's telling people that I'm not to be invited. Just want to point that out. And now, I get to hear that if you talk about me, you get timed out in his chat. That's where my line gets crossed, right? I did not talk about this. The stuff I consider match fixing happened in fucking, I think it was July or June or even before. I don't remember when it was. All I remember was I didn't like that he did that. Then he sure, he distanced himself. Whatever, I don't care. You know, I don't need him to like me. But if people are getting reprimanded for mentioning me, that's fucking petty. So now, you know what? Fuck it. If people are getting timed out, I'm saying this out loud. Okay? Fine. This was gonna be behind the scenes and everything. I didn't care about it, but now I do.
So in short, Question made a fairly reasonable comment on an action Flats had did, which ended up getting his own viewers banned from his chat, him losing a place to sleep at TwitchCon, and him also sectioning himself off from certain content creator groups. Fast forward to now, and Question is pretty drama-free. Not to mention, his stream is also doing better than ever, having an average concurrent viewership of just over 200 viewers in the last 3 months. But there was one slightly sour but true note at the back end of August. It was basically Question stating how making new buttons and edits for his streams weren't really that rewarding, and when people saw the sheer effort and ingenuity he would inject into his streams, people would say he'd be big one day. You would probably think this yourself, and I did too. But Questions only really had big success when he made somber specific content, as is evidenced by his most popular videos. He ends off the thread stating, "One day I might be big, but I'm sad that it isn't for what I want to be standing out for. I've been there. I've always been there. 8 hours a day, even weekly 24-hour streams. And that's the story of Question. With all this being said, it's incredibly impressive that Question grew on his own, and that he did this through Twitch. He hasn't bootlicked anyone to the top, he hasn't duoed with massive streamers and lynched off their viewer base, he's done it all by himself. And as a content creator, I can't say whether Question's gonna be a top 5 Overwatch streamer, but I can say he sure as hell deserves to be. And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you want to help Question, all his links will be down below, and until next